Hey everyone, welcome to the Team Week 3 selection video for Serie Fantasy. I thought I was going to have time to make another video this week, but I want you to have at least one full day to see everything. And our game week starts on Friday this week, not Saturday, as we see two games here, Monza and Udinese and Inter and Lazio. Even if you don't have players from these teams, the game week still locks on Friday, 1 hour before the game starts. So I'm going to try to get this one out a little bit quicker. And we're probably going to be having a lot of videos coming up just because we have midweek games next week. So right after this game week ends, review, then team selection, then that one ends, then we have the next weekend. So it's going to be busy times and it's going to be fun for us, which is awesome. Without further ado, I'm going to get right into what the team is going to look like this upcoming weekend. And I have not made the transfer yet. I think I know what I might do with it. I probably won't do it live, but and I'll update it on Twitter if it does happen. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to these videos and the channel. I'd really appreciate it. We're doing really well, and the chats have been so much fun in the comments, so keep those coming. All right. So first thing we got, we're switching back the keepers, going with Vicario and Net. My two keepers clearly are facing each other this week. Empoli coming off a clean sheet. I do think overall they're the better team, more established. I'm going to back them to win this game. I don't know if either will get a clean sheet. I will be probably upset if Lecce get a clean sheet win. If it's 0-0, then that's fine. But yeah, so let's hope that I picked the correct keeper actually both weeks so far. My bench keeper has gotten more points. First week was only by one. Going into the defense, we have Theo Hernandez, which I think is going to get my armband this week. Both attacking promise and he's got penalties. Plus against Bologna, you'd think that they have a good shot at a clean sheet. You know, Arnautovic up there, he's been good. Could find a goal against Milan, but out of my defenders, that's who I'm going to back the biggest for the clean sheet. Inter has a hard match this week against Lazio. Inter, they can still get a clean sheet potentially. Skriniar does have a little bit of a attacking prowess, and he actually almost got an assist last week, if I do remember. But so he'll stay in there despite the fixture. Ismaili is going to see his first start for me this week again because they're facing Lecce. I'm going to back Empoli to the brim here. I'm actually this is kind of crazy. I think them and Napoli, Empoli and Napoli are my only two teams that I've tripled up on this week in my starting 11. So that'll be fun. But Ismaili gets to start there. Just assuming that he's hopefully going to get a clean sheet. I'm not expecting any big attacking returns from him. We got our terrible two in the middle here for Napoli. We have Lozano and Kvaratskhelia or something like that. I think I'm getting closer to pronouncing it right. Let me know in the comments how close I was. But he looked amazing last game week. He's going to get my vice captaincy. If they were facing a weaker team than Fiorentina, I'd probably have my captaincy on Crava there, but he's going to get vice captaincy for now. I'm sure Theo Hernandez is going to start, so it won't really matter. But just showing that the respect is there for this amazing Georgian player that's come out of nowhere and storming into Serie. Lozano didn't do anything last game, but I'm hoping that he comes back and does some this game. But honestly, it's unlikely that all three are going to get big attacking returns in the game. So as long as they're coming from somewhere. We do have, this is going to be a tough one to watch. Dybala against Juve. That one's going to hurt the heart, but I will start Dybala just because I like him better than my other options. I feel like him and Tammy Abraham are due, although I don't have a lot of faith in Tammy anymore. So if you followed me into Tammy Abraham at the start of the season, I do apologize. Dybala, though, he could be on penalties. I could see him being on penalties. He was at Juve. And Juve, they haven't looked terrible. They haven't conceded yet this year, so there is that, I guess. I guess I shouldn't expect a goal from Dybala, but they still aren't to where they were years ago, and I think that's just a lot of new pieces in the team, and they need to mesh still. But Roma could definitely get goals against Juve. I do have Bajrami in here as well against Lecce. Hasn't really done anything too great, but for 5.5 mil, I can't expect too much. He got me a clean sheet point last week. Maybe he'll just get that again. Maybe he will chip in on the score sheet this week. So I do have him in the squad. And up top, we have Osimhen to finish out the three Napoli attackers. Tammy Abraham over here will be starting for now. And then Jovic, this is the one, he's in the squad right now. I think I will be dropping him to the bench after I make the transfer that I think I'm going to make. And I'm going to go to the transfers and tell you some things I'm thinking about and going there in a second. But this is my starting 11 right now, going with the 3-4-3. Okay, so and here's my bench as it stands. By the way, in my video yesterday, I didn't know what had happened to Gym City. I searched it immediately after, and then it got backed up on the YouTube channel as well. He did sustain a pretty significant injury. I believe it was a fibula fracture, so he will be out for a while. I'm not concerned because I haven't used any of my bench spots. Like I said at the start of the season, it's remaining true. Likely all of your players will either start or see time at some point in the game with 5 subs. So the bench isn't a big deal right now. Some people may question my decision to bench Smalling after his massive return. But against Juve, I can see Juve scoring. They didn't score against Sampdoria, which was kind of sad, but I don't know. I guess Mourinho's gotten 2 clean sheets in a row now. You're going to get scored on eventually. Might as well be against Juve, right? So I do have Smalling on the bench for now, and I don't think he'll be scoring very often, although I'm so happy he did last game. Okay, so this is the transfer that I am currently thinking of right now. And it's not because he's injured that I'm getting rid of him. If you have him and he's injured, you don't need to get rid of him right away. But I do want an Atalanta player in my squad right now. And this is why. Starting this game week, they have Hellas Verona, Torino, Monza, Cremonese. Those are their next 4 game weeks. I need to have an Atalanta player in my team. They do have Roma and Fiorentina after that. Those are 2 tougher fixtures. And then they have Udinese and Sassuolo. So the next 4 fixtures, there's a lot of Atalanta points that could be up for grabs here. So I do kind of want a Atalanta at least defender my team. I don't know who else I'd get rid of right now. Because even though some players don't have a great fixture right now, they do have better ones coming up, and I just don't want to use the transfer on them. What I am thinking of right now is going on Gym City and I spelled the name wrong, and then I'll just throw him in there. Maehle. Okay, I did have Maehle last year. He didn't really perform like I hoped he would. I'm deciding right now between Maehle and Toloi. Toloi does have a goal already this year, but he does seem to play in more of the back 3 than as a wingback. And Maehle as a wingback should be getting forward more than Toloi. So let me know who you decide between those 2. But yeah, so this I think is going to be my transfer. If this transfer does happen, Maehle would be starting this week, and I'd move Jovic to the bench and end up with a 4-4-2. Okay, so just how you can plan out how my team is going to look. So this is what I think I'm going to be locking in. And this ensures that I can still fund what I want to do for the coming weeks. I do want to get rid of 2 of my strikers, one of them being Tammy Abraham at some point, and one of them being Jovic. Now, Jovic is really good for the price that he is, but Arnautovic has been playing so well. And this week, I do not want to bring him in because he's facing AC Milan. But after that, he's got Salernitana, Spezia, Fiorentina, a little tougher, then Empoli. And then it's kind of hit and miss whether his fixtures are. But the fact that he's on penalties, I don't know. I don't think Fiorentina's got a penalty yet. I'm not sure who's on them. Might be Gonzalez. I don't know if it's Jovic. If I figure it out, it is Jovic. That might change my idea. But the fact that Arnautovic is on penalties and he's just been scoring on a much weaker team, I think he's a great player and highly underrated in this league. But so I might be thinking to get him in. And I also want to get Vlahovic in for Tammy Abraham, I think. And the reason is after this fixture against Roma, Juve's got Spezia, Fiorentina, Salernitana, Monza, Bologna. Then they got AC Milan, a little tougher. Then Torino, Empoli, and Lecce. They have so many good fixtures coming up. And so I don't want to bring him in against Roma, but then that brings the question up, do I bring him in next week against Spezia, which would be a good fixture? But then Roma is also playing Monza. So maybe I just stick with Tammy Abraham for one more game. against the promoted side just to see if he can finish against the promoted side and use that other transfer elsewhere, and I can bring in Vlahovic the next week. That's kind of where my thought is right now. Because then the good run of fixtures for Roma starts drying up. They'll have Udinese and Empoli still, but then you got Atalanta and Inter Milan back to back, Napoli not too long after that. So I think then I can part ways with Tammy Abraham. So I'm thinking within the next 2-3 weeks, my players that I kind of have on radar a little bit right now, based on my funds, are Maehle, Arnautovic, and Vlahovic. Another one, which I'm kind of still looking at, is Malinovsky again. I know I just got rid of him, and I don't regret it because I got rid of him for Krava, and he did amazing. But if Malinovsky, maybe I'll give it till after the transfer window closes, because if he's still in the Atalanta team and he is starting with how good he is at 7.5 mil, I might even just switch out Lozano to Malinovsky or something. So now I still have the two major Napoli contributors right now. And then I got him as well, because man, is he ever a good player if he's consistently starting. He's just so creative, gets to those areas. I don't know why I didn't start the first week. But now this is 2 games, 2 returns, and I think the only crappy thing is I'm probably gonna miss a price rise from him because I could see him going up in price. Okay. But that is kind of where my thought process lies right now. Let me know what you think. I will give you my top 5 suggestions to bring in this week with money not really being an option. I'd say Kvaratskhelia is the number one. I think he keeps going up in price. Get him before he's too expensive. He's at 6.7, I believe, right now. I really highly suggest getting him. He's just, for his price and his production so far, why not? You're not even expecting 2 goals a game or even a goal per game from a 6.7 midfielder. And he's giving it to you right now, and Napoli still have decent fixtures. A little bit of a tougher one this week, but I'd say get him into your team. Unfortunately, what that means is he probably, even if he does have a great game, it won't end up moving you up too high in the rankings at the end of the day because he is going to be so highly owned. But you don't want to be missing out on those points either. The next one is Berardi. I'm going to keep him there. He backed up my praise of him last game. Remember, when goals are happening, forced to swallow, which they will, I don't think they're going to get a whole lot of wins. And they're not a great team, but goals come from Berardi in that team. Assists, if it's not by him, he's getting the assist. And they have really good fixtures right now. So I think Berardi is a good player to bring into your squad right now. I think of Vlahovic, for what I said, Juve is about to have an amazing run of fixtures. I'm probably, once I get in Maehle, Vlahovic, and maybe Arnautovic, I'll probably try to bring in 2 more Juve players that I've seen are consistently starting, or at least maybe a defender for them. Malinovsky is my 4th one. So that is, I just explained Malinovsky to you. I don't need to do it again, but if you get him into your squad, I don't think you're making any mistakes. And lastly, I'm going to say is Osimhen. Getting to play alongside Krava and Lozano right now, there are so many goals for that Napoli attack. And I think that I'd be happy with 2 of them, and I'd probably pick Krava and Osimhen right now. Okay, so those are my top 5. Going over one more time: Krava, Berardi, Vlahovic, Malinovsky, and Osimhen. Let me know what you think in the comments. Please don't forget to subscribe to this channel and keep it growing. And I'll talk to you again soon. Take care.